Hello, my friends. D.L. Anderson here. Welcome back to Transformation by Truth podcast as we share the truth concerning these last days and what you must do to save yourself from the violent times that are just ahead. Today's podcast is a word of truth accounting of the end times. The end is coming. The end is near. Today's podcast is entitled End Times 3:18, the three keys to your victory over lawlessness. Why you will succeed where others have failed. The podcast objectives are analyze the difference between spiritual and physical warfare, analyze how many became casualties to the great falling away, and reveal the great danger of becoming distracted in this 11th hour. This lesson contains timelines and other visuals. Therefore, if you are listening to the podcast, I advise you to watch the video version on our website or YouTube, or request a PDF of the lesson so you can add the visual effect. The first of many keys. Shalom, my beloved brothers and sisters, and welcome to day 33 of our exposition of lawlessness. In the most recent podcast, we analyze the mindset you must have as you labor to eliminate the 80 degrees of lawlessness from your life. To it, no matter how hard the path may be, you must be strong in Yahuwah Elohim and the power of his might. And you must always believe you can do all things according to his will. Notwithstanding, I would be remiss and largely irresponsible if I, like those who will never obtain the seal of Elohim, only focused on the difficulties and challenges in overcoming lawlessness. Here is why. Not only are there more spiritual forces fighting for us in our battles with lawlessness, but these forces are superior to the forces that are against us. My dear friends, we are afforded the luxury of going into every spiritual battle with the superior army. And thus, from the very beginning of our quest, we are set up to have great success. We know this because of a key difference between spiritual and physical warfare. To wit, the superior force on the scale of power cannot be defeated. They will always win. On this wise, we perceive the numbers are not nearly as consequential as the power. This is why the winning side will always be the side Yahuwah Elohim is on, which is why Shaul poses the question, if Elohim is for us, who can be against us? All you have to do, my friend, is stay on the winning side by walking in the way of holiness and progressing your mastery of the Father's will. And this is the first of many keys to your victory over lawlessness. Casualties to the great falling away. No doubt, there are many keys to success in your victory over lawlessness, and we will discuss many of them throughout this phase. Nevertheless, I would like to address two more in this podcast, beginning with the scope of your personal fight. Along these lines, I don't suppose many who are following this ministry are starting from scratch. To it, you have already made some progress in defeating lawlessness on various fronts, and thus the following is true. Most, if not all, who will be sealed in this 11th hour are not losing their battles to all the degrees of lawlessness. Quite the contrary, they are reigning over many of them. Ergo, most, if not all, who will be sealed again in this 11th hour have less than 80 degrees of lawlessness they must eliminate. Now, this speaks to a somewhat depressing matter I have stated in prior podcasts. That is, there are many within the extended nation of Israel who are beyond salvation. Alas, they will never be sealed for the simple fact that they have run out of time. My preferred example for this scenario is an airplane taking flight. To wit, an airplane needs a certain amount of runway to ascend into the sky. And if the plane does not reach a certain velocity while it has the runway, it will not ascend. Alas, this reality has befallen many within the extended nation of Israel. And you can see this by the timeline below. Vis-a-vis, this season began with a call to walk in the way of holiness, which was followed by the renewed nation of Israel turning away from lawlessness. Here lies the problem and the primary variance between the renewed nation, which is spiritual, and the extended nation, which is physical. Regrettably, those within the extended nation of Israel did not turn away from lawlessness, which is why the next major sign in this season was the great falling away. Here lies the inflection in a great revelation concerning the great falling away, which many do not consider. I advise you to bookmark it. The great falling away is the manifestation of Yahuwah Elohim rejecting every member of the extended nation of Israel who ran out of runway. To wit, the moment every member of the extended nation ran out of runway is the moment they became casualties to the great falling away. You will not be distracted. Now, these things being what they are, I would again be remiss if I didn't warn you that the great falling away is not yet over. My dear friends, the great falling away continues unto this day. Along these lines, those who fit the profile of the 11th hour worker are those who still have some runway. To wit, they still have time to obtain the seal of Elohim. That would be many, if not all of you who are listening to this podcast. Notwithstanding, you must not take this time for granted. Brothers and sisters, the clock is ticking. The door to salvation is closing. And yes, you have time to enter in, but you must make haste. You must enter in. And don't take the time you have for granted. Trust me, those who have already fallen away had more time than you, and yet they still fell away for one primary reason. Consider this and be advised. The primary reason why many within the extended nation of Israel became casualties to the great falling away is because they became distracted. And where there is distraction, there will always be deception. This, my friends, is how the enemy works. Now, this speaks to the third key to your success and your victory over lawlessness. To wit, if you follow the spirit-led teaching and training in this phase. Trust me, you will not be distracted. Not only this, but I will provide you with a blueprint for eliminating every degree of lawlessness. Ergo, even if you have already defeated any degree, you will have knowledge as to how you can maintain victory over that degree. Likewise, if you haven't defeated any particular degree, you will not only have a strategy for your success, you will also have someone ready and willing to help you through the process. You'll have me, and you'll have the prayers and support of everyone following this ministry. Brothers and sisters, with these three keys and everything else the Father has afforded you, there is nothing else we need. Therefore, we will begin our deep dive into the 80 degrees of lawlessness on Monday. It is time to put on the whole armor of Elohim, for the real fighting is about to begin. Now, here is the final word. If you hold fast to every key, then you shall have the victory. This is the final word, my friends, which I have been led to share with you before we embark on your quest for the seal of Elohim. No doubt, we are going to address some formidable foes along the way. We'll face doubt, disobedience, dishonesty, deception, error, lust, division, and many other spiritual diseases and viruses that are ruining the extended nation of Israel and the world. As I have said before, it's not going to be easy, but it will get easier as you build momentum and as you take advantage of every key Yahuwah has afforded us, for the sole reason that he is invested in our success. And thus, I encourage you to succeed, my brothers and sisters, and make the most of this limited time we possess. For we all must appear before the judgment seat of Yahushua Messiah, and to him we must confess. Did we succeed the path before us, or were we deceived into settling for less? Did we devalue his sacrifice, his precious blood, or did we follow after his righteousness? Again, the choice is yours, for I am only a watchman. But remember this last time is all we have, and we shall not be here again. Now, here is today's assignment. Meditate on all the lessons you have heard this week and ask the Father to give you clarity on anything you are struggling to receive. And if you are led, please feel free to reach out to me. You can fill out a form on our website and let us know what questions you have. And remember, the only question that can truly hurt you is the one you fail to ask. Last but not least, enjoy the upcoming Shabbat and the weekend, and be ready to get back at it next week as we continue to make our calling and election sure in pursuit of the precious and priceless seal of Elohim. Now, here is what's next. We completed today's podcast, End Times 3:18, the three keys to your victory over lawlessness. And the next podcast is entitled End Times 3:20, an intro to doubt. I will post this podcast on Monday, August 5th, 2024. Until then, my friends, continue to be led by the Spirit of Elohim. Continue to watch, continue to pray, continue in fasting, And most of all, continue to be focused, for the end is coming. The end is near.